Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of The Humble Ride. Today, I'll be getting on my 2010 Softail Deluxe, and we will be heading to Davie County to take a ride with one of the most interesting people I know, my buddy Larry. Larry lives in Davie County where I used to live. I made a lot of good memories and a lot of good friends, including him and his family. I'm going to ride over to the Davie County Sheets and meet up with Larry for a quick ride. This episode is brought to you by Davie County Sheets, egg sandwiches, and my favorite drink, Liquid Death. I'm waiting on Larry DuPont to arrive, and then we're going to take a quick ride together. I believe I hear Larry pulling into Sheets right now as I'm standing by the gas pumps. That's that crazy dude right there. One of my greatest friends. What's up, buddy?
Nothing.
What are we going to do today, brother?
We're going to ride and have some fun, make some videos, and just chill the hell out.
That's what I like to do,
man. My hair
man.
is a mess.
Hey, man, my hair is a mess, too.
Ignore it. I don't have my hat.
It's all good. You ready to go, man?
I'm ready to go. Let's ride.
We left Sheets to take a short ride on some Davie County back roads. Lots of twists and turns. Larry and I have been friends for a very long time, and we both love motorcycles. We don't get to spend a lot of time together due to us both being self-employed and working so much. But he always calls and always asks me to take a ride. And when I can say yes, I always do. Larry lives at the end of a very long Davie County dirt road. I also used to live on this dirt road because I rented a double-wide trailer from him and his family once upon a time. I have a lot of great memories of raising my oldest son out in these parts and getting close to Larry and his family. Larry is one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my entire life, and he's very successful. For anybody out there that says the words, "It must be nice," Larry and I would both agree, it sure as hell is. We have both taught our sons that everything worth having in life comes from hard work, that you have to earn your way. So anything that Larry has, he has damn sure earned every bit of it. We're going to pull into Larry's driveway, and he's going to tell us about his motorcycle collection. Then we're going to take a tour of DuPont Land, otherwise known as the Game Room and the Cigar Lounge. After taking a short ride through some Davie County back roads, we are here at Larry's farm, which is also called DuPont Land. It's a beautiful place out at the end of a long dirt road in Davie County. We're going to be talking about DuPont Land and taking a small tour where Larry shares his entire life with all of his friends and family. Larry has supported me and my music for many years. He's become a brother and a friend. Larry DuPont is a self-made man. He started his business out of his garage. And now it's grown into a worldwide phenomenon. He has a lot of toys, and we'll be talking about that. From dirt bikes to street bikes to hot rods, this guy's got it going on. He's put all of his hard work into motion and lives each day of his life like it's his last. We'll be talking more about this hot rod at the end of the video. First, Larry's going to tell us about his collection.
So when I was in college, I worked at a motorcycle shop part-time, and a Yamaha VMAX came in the crate, and I bought one brand new. It was a 1994. So if you don't know anything about the VMAX, it was one of the fastest production motorcycles in the world for 10 years. I mean, this thing is a monster. It's a V-twin, 1200 cc's. It's an absolute beast. And I found one on Black Friday 2 years ago on Facebook, and I ordered it and got this bike back. When I had this bike, I rode it to college for 4 years and had Gerber heated gear. I rode this thing religiously, and then I sold it to buy my first Harley, which was the Softail, which was this bike. When I had this bike back in Pennsylvania, I rode it all over the place, moved to Carolina. I was a police officer for 8 years, so I actually sold this bike because I was working as a police officer, and then on my days off, I had 2 young children. But ironically, I found the same year, make, model, color bike on Facebook in Asheboro last year, so I bought it. So now I'm lucky enough to have the 2 bikes that I had in college and when I was younger in my collection. And then last year, my wife, ironically, we went to Smoking Harley Davidson to get her a new helmet because we hadn't been riding for so long. Her helmet had, the styrofoam had disintegrated. She walked into the Smoking Harley Davidson dealership and she says, "I want that bike." And my wife bought me that Road Glide. And I said, "I don't even know if I can ride that thing." And they said, "Oh, we can get a tag. You can test drive it." I test drove it. Long story short, we've taken this bike. I think I put 14,000 miles on it last year. And then if you come down this way, ironically, I walked into Smoking Harley Davidson, and this V-Rod was sitting there with 3,700 miles on it.
Wow.
And it's candy apple orange or candy apple red, whatever they call it. And I looked up a bunch of videos on it, and everybody said, "You know what? I wouldn't want this as my only Harley, but now that I've rode one, I won't get rid of it." And that's exactly the way I can say about this bike. This thing, I rode it yesterday, and it is so powerful. It's got so much torque. I mean, it redlines at like 9,000 RPMs. It's just amazing, fast, and it's fun, and it gives you that thrill that a motorcycle enthusiast wants to have.
That rear end looks monstrous.
It's nasty. I mean, that bike is so nasty, it shouldn't even be legal.
How fast is it?
I don't ride really fast, James, because I want to come home every day. I mean, honestly, I probably never went past 80 miles an hour on that bike.
Right.
I don't ride fast. Like, you know me. I got Kevlar pants on with hip pads. I wear armor. I got my Kevlar jacket. I don't fuck around.
Exactly. Yeah, we ride a lot the same, man. I like to ride for the love and the journey. And
I've done that. I'm 50 years old, and I've got a lot to live for. And I've done that shit when I was in my 20s, and I've done 150 miles an hour, but not anymore. The funny thing about this Triumph Bobber is I love this bike. It's so much fun. I pulled a handful of guns out of the gun safe one day, and I said to my wife, I said, "Do you care if I sell a few guns and go buy a different bike?" She's like, "No, do what you want." I went and rode this bike, and within 5 minutes of test driving it, I knew I was going to have it.
I love this bike.
It's lightweight. It's beautiful. I got this seat off of a custom guy on Etsy that made this seat. I made these saddlebags out of my ammo cans, 50 caliber ammo cans. I painted them, got the stickers off of Etsy. It's so much different riding this little bobber than versus that 1,000-pound Road Glide.
Oh, absolutely.
When you ride the Road Glide, it's great. It's comfortable. It's got the big stereo. It's got the navigation. But it's like a chore. Like, it's literally like driving a lazy boy recliner where you can get on this bike. I mean, you can just go knock around and have fun and do whatever you want to do.
Well, I had a Road Glide for a little over a year.
Yeah.
And I loved it. But, for me, it was definitely a little too large for me.
Well, and that's like, when you get my wife on there, when you get the tour pack loaded up with luggage, and we went to Tennessee and we've taken a tour, you got a 1,000-pound motorcycle pulling up to a gas pump, like you're literally thinking about every single movement you're doing. And
Absolutely.
you don't want to drop the damn thing.
No way.
And then but when you get on something like a V-Rod or the V-Max or the Softail, of all the bikes I own, if I could only keep one, it would be that Softail.
I agree, man. We've talked about this before. I will be doing a video on my Softail Deluxe. The thing is about that bike, it's so easy to ride.
It's so easy to ride.
It's comfortable. You've got a much more comfortable seat than I do.
Really? That's the factory seat.
Yeah, the factory seat's way more comfortable than that bitch I put on mine. But it looks good.
But I mean, I love motorcycling. It's one of those things. It's the only thing that in my life when I own a business, that's the only time when I'm not worried about employees or work or shipping or this. When I get on my motorcycles, all I'm thinking about is time and distance calculations and safety and exit routes. And so it makes me so relaxed when I ride my bike. And
I understand that completely.
People that don't ride motorcycles, they really don't understand that. And yeah, it's like one of these things. It's like it's so stressful because it's so dangerous. But at the end of the day, it's so satisfying.
I agree.
And there's been times when I was like, well, I'm going to sell all these bikes and just not ride at all. And then, but I come back to it, and it's like when you and I rode today, there's nothing replaces that feeling.
Exactly. Well, Larry, thanks for showing us around to the collection here. I would like for everybody to kind of see where you and your family and friends spend your spare time.
Okay.
Who are you? You're so happy. We've had a lot of conversations around that table. I was going through a really hard time in life once, and we shared a lot of love and a lot of opinions over a lot of bourbon right there. Larry's one of the most interesting people I've ever met, and everything he has, he shares with his friends and his family. This is just a little glimpse of what we call DuPont land. I've had a lot of good times in this room, especially back in 2020 when the whole world was shut down and I lost 66 jobs in 3 months. Larry and his wife and son became like family to me and welcomed me anytime I wanted to come over just to be a part of their family. This room was definitely created to make memories in, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this video series. All right, Larry, so man, we've seen all your motorcycles. We had a great ride earlier. Tell me about this amazing game room.
Downstairs is the distribution center for our business. So when we were building this building, we said, hey, you know what? Let's add a second story onto it and have something for an entertainment lounge. Of course, exactly that happened with the pandemic, shut everybody down. So we couldn't go out to bars, couldn't take vacations. So my wife and I love pinball, so we ended up buying a couple pinball machines, and like motorcycles, they ended up multiplying. So we come up here, and during the pandemic, we had our friends come over. I got 2 beers on draft. We got a pool table, shuffleboard, and basically just built an entertainment room for all of our family and friends to come decompress and have a great time. And I play pinball up here almost every night. I love the way it turned out. We've had a lot of good nights up here, and all of our friends really enjoy it.
Well, brother, let's take a look at this cigar lounge.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it's awesome to me that we've been friends for so many years. You were one of the first people that told me that I should become a full-time musician. And when you were in the police force and decided to become a self-employed man, a lot of people probably told you the same thing they told me, which was, you're crazy, that's never going to work.
Oh, yeah. No.
Tell me how all of this came to be.
So I worked for Winston PD for 8 years, and my family got started in saltwater aquariums, and it took me so long to feed them at night by thawing out all the different food items, and it was taking up a lot of space in the freezer. I started looking up DIY fish food recipes where you can take 15, 20 ingredients, your shrimp, scallops, oysters, clams, beta carotene, put it in one blend, process it with a blender, and then freeze it. And that way, when you feed your fish, you just break off a little pack.
I love that.
And so I registered to lrsfoods.com, and I took a 6-month leave of absence from the police force because I didn't know if it was going to work or not. We had done a couple trade shows, and everybody at the police department said, "You're a fool. You're giving up a double pension." But I mean, the salary there was miserable, and the climate was
Well, you're risking your life every day. No respect from the public, you know.
Well, and I love what I did for the first 5 or 6 years, but then things started to change,
Right.
climate-wise, in the police department, and of course, I got out right before all of the turmoil erupted in this country. But we've been making fish food for over 11 years. We have 400 retailers. We ship internationally. We service public aquariums. We've been involved with a dozen breeding studies.
Amazing.
And the crazy thing is that no one could figure out, like, what's this guy in North Carolina with no biology degree? Like, why is the food so good? And what we learned was that the fresh shrimp that we get every week and the oysters and all those nutrients are so intact that the proteins and the lipids are higher than stuff you get that's been frozen for 6 months. So when the breeders were sourcing our food, we've been involved with several breeding studies where one of them was over $2 million worth of fish were bred using our food, and we got publicly named. I mean, I've been in a couple aquaculture books, and so it went crazy. But like I said, we hustled our ass off. We went to 50 pet stores in 1 year up in that East Coast. I wrapped a vehicle. We drove that. We had to do the trade shows. Like, it was a long hustle. And so,
your little car used to be wrapped.
Yeah.
And that inspired me to wrap my van
Yeah.
the first time. And now I've had my van wrapped, like, this is the third time I've had it wrapped. But it was all because I was like, Larry's driving around a little, what was it, a Ford
Focus.
Ford
I love
Focus,
that little
man,
thing, man.
wrapped with like LRS Frenzy Foods. And I thought, I need a JVC van that looks like that.
Yeah. And so now we're really fortunate where I'm 50, my wife is a little older than me, but she's withdrawn from the business last year. My daughter stepped up to take her role, and my son is employed here in the shipping department. And so he does the shipping. I assist him 3 days a week, but we're really lucky that our 2 adult children are passionate about the business. So I work about 10 hours a week, and I garden, I shoot, I do other things. My wife, she's a gardener.
You ride motorcycles?
I ride motorcycles, so
Yeah.
we're just going to kind of keep it going the way it is and see how things go.
So, I have one question. Did any of this come easy?
Oh, God, no. James, there were times I'd wake up at 6 in the morning with 30 emails.
Right.
And I'd have to make fish food, go get dry ice, pack the fish food, run invoices for the credit cards, and then there was 30 emails again from 6 p.m. to midnight.
Yeah.
And I mean, I gained 35 pounds. My blood pressure was through the roof. And it wasn't until my daughter had my grandson where she's like, Dad, I don't want to put the baby in daycare. Mom says you're overworked. I want to come help lessen the burden. And that was really a pivotal moment because at one point, it's one thing for me to quit my job.
Sure.
But then my wife quit her job 3 months later to work in this business. And then my daughter quit her job. So it's like all this massive amount of weight. And I love entrepreneurship, but there's nothing easy about it.
Right. People will never understand. I do know there's days where me and fellow musicians will say, I can't find any work or nobody's responding to our messages. And you go through these days, feast or famine.
Right.
Right? It's real. Feast or famine. And then one day you're wanting to rest, take it easy, and the phone's going nuts. I'm getting booking after booking, job after job. So it's either you're looking for the work and you can't find it, or you're getting so much work and you don't know what to do with it. Right.
When I look at the numbers on the 90-day, the 6-month, and the annual, I need to stop that shit because it all evens out,
Yeah.
People need fish food like you need dog food.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
Cat food.
as long as our product stays the same and the quality is good and the relationships are good, which is one of the things we've done is we have very minimal online presence. So the brick and mortar stores that have been suffering, they really latched onto our brand because when we sell them the product, people have to come there to get it.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the other fish food competitors, they're hoarded out to Chewy and all over the place. And you got no reason to go to the pet store. Well, if you go to the pet store to buy my product, chances are you're going to see a coral or a saltwater fish or a heater. And the pet stores love that. You wouldn't believe that. I mean, that's what's made our brand so solid for 10 years is that we have stuck to the core principles of supporting brick and mortar stores.
Amazing.
And then they pay us back. And a lot of these stores, I go to their annual Christmas parties, like they know me and we're Facebook friends with a lot of them. So there's really a bond there. I'm glad that I was able to build my brand before Facebook changed the algorithms to where my business page is dead. Right. I can make a post on there, get 3 likes, but make the same post on my Larry page and you get 200 likes.
I figured that out real quick. For some reason, my personal page gets way more views
Yep.
than my business page. And I'm sometimes like, why do I even have it? You know,
Exactly. I don't know.
we do it because it's there, you know. Larry, thanks so much for the ride earlier. We're definitely going to ride more, and hopefully next year I'm going to have more days off to ride as much as possible.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was a good time.
So thanks for letting us into your life and telling us that hard work and dedication is an example of the American dream.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Well, dude, before we go, I need to know about that car.
That's my 48 Chevy hot rod that we've got. That photograph was actually taken over at Raylan Vineyards. I love that car. It's awesome. My wife and I take it out. We don't ride it as much now because we've got more into motorcycles, but it's a cool little ride.
Right. Well, let's go check it out, man.
All right. Car has shaved door handles. We have electronic door poppers. And then you can see the
Beautiful.
beautiful interior. And
Oh,
scroll back and look at the rear deck with those speakers back there. Oh, man. It's just... There's two 12-inch subwoofers behind the back seats. 9 speakers total.
so
Everything with
beautiful.
amps. I mean, it's got a 350 Chevy front end, a 350 Chevy motor. Well, you can pop the hood.
Yeah.
There, look at that engine.
Oh,
It's dirty, but
sexy.
it's dirty, but look at that thing. So it's a 350 TPI fuel-injected motor. Everything works great. I mean, the car just runs like a dream. It's just an amazing machine.
You know, you say it looks dirty, but to me it looks beautiful.
Well, I live on a dirt road, so it looks
Yeah.
like dirt. I mean,
Amazing.
can't complain.
Well, Larry, thanks again for your time today, my brother. Is there anything you would like to say to the world before we end this episode?
Nope.
Thanks again for watching episode 2. As usual, I'm still figuring things out, but with the help of my buddy Larry, I'm going to change the world.
I don't know about all that, but
I love you, man.
I'm in for the ride,
Thank
brother.
you so much.